Hello everyone, welcome back to THEFARMSIMGUY. Today we are looking at long grain rice. If you've seen my first rice tutorial, you'll know that we looked at the regular rice and we had our small paddy field here and we went through the full cycle from growing our saplings right through to harvesting and prepping the field for the following year. So we are back, we are in the middle of January. As you can see, a little bit of snow falling, there's leaves on the ground. We have our equipment over here, so we'll quickly go and have a look at this. And we have got here a very big planter here, or seeder, to get the saplings into the ground. We have got our trailer and our tractor, and we have got our combine here. We also have our fertilizer spreader from last time as well, which is hiding around the back here somewhere. Because we will need to put a dose of fertilizer in as well. So, without further ado, priority number one is to get ourselves a field sorted. So, as we did in the last tutorial, we will set ourselves up with a rice field. Now, with long grain rice and the equipment that we're using, we can go for a bigger yield. The yields are a lot higher with long grain rice than they were with the other rice, so let's get that sorted right now. So into the build menu we go. We scroll down to productions and we go along to cultivation and we place 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. This will join the field up like so, and we are happy with that size, so we just right click and away we go. So there is our field. Now it's worth noting as well that the level of the field is set with your first dot, so you can see now there is a smooth entrance into the field here, but over here where we had a little bit of undulation, it has dropped down to keep, so the rice field of course has to be kept level because we want to make sure that the water doesn't flow out of it. But yes, in this instance your first corner is where the level of the field will be. Now, because we are putting long grain rice in this time, we don't have to flood our field yet. Now if I go over to here, of course the field doesn't know that yet, so if I press R here it will give you the option to flood the field, but with long grain rice you don't have to do that. So what we'll do, we'll get into our seeder, we'll get into the tractor with the seeder, we'll fill everything up and we will start seeding our field. So there we go, let's get our fertilizer in and we've got our seed here. Let's get this put in. There we go, 1 bag in, second one being done now. Right, there we go, 58% fertilizer and a full hopper of seed. Now all we need to do is press Y to make sure we find long grain rice. There we go, let's fold this up before we go across the road with it, but we are good to go. So we roll our tractor into some sort of position here, we press H, let our worker get started, and we will leave them to get the field finished. Now we have done a relatively small field here just to prove the point, or we've been here for a long time, but the worker will get lined up and start planting. And like I said, if we were doing regular rice over here, we would have flooded this first, but because we're doing long grain rice, we plant in the dry and then we flood the field at a later point. But you can see here we're going from dry field to, there we go, seeded with long grain rice and fertilization 50%. We're putting our first layer of fertilizer down and our seed. So we'll come back when they're finished. Right, here we go, the seeder just finishing off the end of the field and we are fully planted here. He's going to ride up onto the ridge there. Really something we can avoid, but there we go. Let's get this folded up, back over to the garage, and we'll move on to the next stage. Right, so there we go, field all planted, and we are good to move on to the next stage. And just to prove that when you have long grain rice planted, we have no requirement to flood. You can see that has gone away now. So there's nothing else to do than to skip forward to the next day. So what we'll do what we did in the last tutorial. We will skip forward to the point at which the state changes, and then we'll move it forward to the following day. So let's do that now. So there we go. We have just skipped past midnight, and you can see that we have hit stage 1 already with those green shoots. So let's move forward so we've got a bit of daylight, and we'll have a look again. There we go. You can see it in all its glory now, looking really, really good. And the first thing we're going to do is head over to the pump here, and we are going to check something. And look, it now tells us, as we've moved on to the next stage, that we need to flood the field. So we will start to do that. The other thing we're going to do at this stage is add our second layer of fertilizer in. Now, you could do this at this stage. We could do it the next stage after, but we'll just do it now to get it over and done with. So let's grab the tractor and head back into the field. Right, here we go. As with last time, this is such a wide fertilizer spreader. It won't take us long to cover the entire field here, so we will do that while it's filling up, just to be a little bit more efficient. And then we will come back, we'll check the levels, and then we'll take it from there. Right, here we are finishing the fertilization off. I should mention again, we are running narrow tyres here because we have crop destruction on. Now, you can turn crop destruction off if you want to and not worry about that. But do bear that in mind from a tyre perspective when you are doing this, because you don't want to damage your crops unless you absolutely have to. But like I said, narrow tyres if you're driving on the crop and you have crop destruction turned on. But that was done in double quick time, so let's run this back over here and we'll just check those levels and we'll check how much water is in there. So there we go, fertilised 100% now. You can see we're starting to fill up with water as well. So we are done again, and we will skip forward to the next stage. And there we go, once again as we hit midnight we have bumped forward to the next growth stage again. We'll fast forward to morning so you can see it in a bit better light, but we have moved on to the next stage. There we are in the morning now, and you can see that we have got a much thicker crop here now. And again, we will go back to our pump. We will just double check that this does not need more water, and it does. It's telling us the water level is low. We need to add more water, and that is all we need to do at this stage. So let's skip forward again to the next day. Right, we've moved on to the next stage again, and it has grown just a little bit, but what we'll do, we'll move forward to morning so you can see it properly. So there we go, we have skipped forward another stage. Visually does not look any different, and again we will check here, and we need to flood yet again. So lots of water required for long grain rice. So field fully flooded now. You can see the water in here if we walk in it. You can see that is fully flooded. So on that note, nothing else to do today but skip forward to the next growth stage. Once again, we have just moved past midnight, and you can see we've got some serious height now in the field. Again, we'll skip forward to the morning so you can see it in all its glory. And there we go. We've got a bit of rain here, just clearing up, but we shall go back to our pump here, hit the R button, and there is no longer a requirement for flooding. So it looks like we're at a stage now where we just need to skip forward yet another day. Let's just check again here, but we do have 100% fertilization and a yield bonus of 97%, which I'll touch on in a little while. But yes, that looks like everything we need is done, and again it's a case of skip forward. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, here we are in the middle of June. It is 9 AM. We just happen to have a rather major hail shower on at the moment, which isn't going to help us harvest this, but we are at ready to harvest stage. As you can see in the field here, we are good to go. So as soon as this hailstorm has died down, we're going to jump in the combine and we're going to get this harvested. Well, we had to wait until the afternoon for the weather to behave enough for us to be able to get to the rice to combine it, but here we are. We're in the field. It won't take us any time at all to combine this with the big header we've got on. So, we'll come back when we're done. Now, I do want to stop just here because as you can see in the corner of the field here, we have got some crop missing. We have some down at the bottom there as well. That is the result of the hailstorm that we had earlier on. It has damaged the crops. It's the first time I've actually seen it happen in real time when we have had crop in the field, but it does do damage to your crops, so do bear that in mind as well. Now here we go, we're just about to finish the field. You can see down in the bottom right hand corner there we have got just over 10,000 litres of crop, which is considerably more than we had off the field when we were doing the regular rice. Granted, the field was smaller, but volume wise you do get a lot more crop with long grain rice than you did with the regular rice. So let's just run this over. We'll pop it into the trailer, but definitely one to consider is volume when it comes to long grain rice. There we go, let's get that unloaded. So there we go, there is our field harvest. We have got our crop of rice off the field and into the trailer. Now, there is one stage post-harvest that I didn't show in the previous vid, but a few people have highlighted in the comments, which is a very fair point, is that now, to prepare your field for the next harvest, you can go straight in, you can cultivate it. However, if you want to gain an extra 2.5% boost in your yield, you can mulch it first. So you can see now the field is back to 50% fertilized. So as per the other rice, it does retain one of the fertilization stages after you've harvested the crop. And it won't show, this won't show up, the yield bonus won't show up now until after we have mulched and cultivated and planted. So let's do all three of those stages and then we'll come back and I'll show you the difference. Right, so we've been mulching for a bit now with the Kubota. We've just thrown the Fendt in there as well to start doing the cultivation. So this is basically giving us the best possible field prep before we bring the seeder back and we put the next year's worth of rice in. So we'll let these two finish doing their thing and then we'll come back to hopefully that fully prepped field. Right, there is our field fully cultivated and mulched. So if we jump in here and we get the seeder set up, hopefully we will see the additional percentage that we get from having that state mulched. If you flash back to the start when I moused over the field, we were at 97% of a yield bonus. This time we should be seeing it at 100%. So let's jump out while the worker just gets lined up. And when it drops down, we'll be able to see. So at the moment, field fertilised 50%. You can see the colour changing there. Now we mouse over here. There we go. Yield bonus plus 100% and fertilised 100%. So you're retaining one of the fertilisation states from the end of year one. But we've also mulched the field, which has given us that just that extra couple of percent in yield bonus as well. And of course, because we're planting long grain rice again, we don't need to flood straight away. We do that after the second stage. But there we go. That is long grain rice. Again, as with the first one, here's the handy downloadable guide you can get from the description to show you all the stages that we've gone through during this process. Hopefully you found that useful. Long grain rice is an interesting one. I think probably of the two rices, it's the one I'm likely to maybe harvest more often when I've got a bigger farm, but maybe on a smaller scale, the other rice is the better option. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, I really like the rice as a crop in FS25. There's a lot of immersion, a lot of things to do, and it's just something a little bit different. So I hope you enjoy it too. I hope this guide comes in handy. If so, drop me a note in the comments below, and also let me know what tutorial you'd like to see next. But for now, from me, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.